everybody? Welcome back to Flying-Artz. I'm in a makeshift, like not makeshift studio. I'm still trying to figure this thing out. Like I said in a dozen videos, I get lazy, but I really think I'm gonna hammer down some time this coming week to get this space situated. But then again, I kind of like how it looks. It's kind of rugged. But anyway, I want to talk about Tron Ares right now. I don't understand all the hate that this movie is getting. It's getting panned all over the place. I don't get it. And it's usually, some critics that are panning it. It's YouTubers that are panning it. And I see a lot of people who are just moviegoers are actually kind of liking it. Like me, I like it. I'm a moviegoer. I like to watch movies. And I am now on this platform trying to give my take on reviews of different movies and things like that. So I went to see it. I went to see Tron Legacy yesterday. And long story short, I actually enjoyed the film. Again, I don't understand what the hate is for. The people are talking about the acting. They're talking about the story, the plot. Some people have some legitimate gripes. I will get into that in just a second. But I like the movie. It's not that bad. Now, what I will say, I think this movie, Tron Ares, is a bit premature. I think it should have been a little bit later in the franchise, and I'll get to that. But first off, I got my notes. So I want to talk about the acting first. The acting was fine. Was Greta Lee and Jared Leto, the two leads. They did a fine job. This isn't a drama movie. It's not a movie no one's winning an Oscar for these types of movies. All right, they're just not, unless it's special effects and things like that. And if you have a story, then maybe the story could lend itself to an Academy Award nomination or whatnot. But typically, these types of movies don't do that. This is a movie that you suspend, reality for a couple of hours. That's what it is. And I don't know what the hell some of these critics were expecting, like Critical Drinker, for instance, or Neurotic or whatnot. These guys, I don't know what it is, man, but I think these guys, some of these people, man, just seem to have it out for Disney, period. It doesn't matter what Disney does. They just have it out for them. Okay, now, again, there are some legitimate gripes. Like, I don't like Captain Marvel. I don't. So I'm with them on their, criticism on those types of movies. I don't like all of the girl boss type stuff. That's kind of, it's sometimes it could work, but a lot of times it falls flat. A lot of the times it works, but it only works when it's not coming at the expense of the men that in the films. I don't think that's happening in Tron Ares. I don't think that has happened at all. I mean, I think they actually played well off each other, the two lead actors. I don't understand why so many people are criticizing Greta Lee's acting. I don't get it. Like, it's a fun movie. It's like you're not winning an Academy Award for this. It's not drama like that. There were some criticism about, we have another white guy being the antagonist and stuff like that. And yes, there's some legitimate criticism regarding that in a lot of cinema, not just Disney, but just a lot of cinema, period, where the white man is the antagonist, is always the evil white guy. I get it. Sometimes that can be overplayed. And I think in this film, yes, it is part of that. But my main gripe of it wasn't because he was a white guy. My main gripe was his motivation. It's just like greed. Like, it wasn't really like they had a real rivalry. You had a company, they tried to explain it in the beginning that there was a rivalry between the companies, which it is. But his whole motivation for getting what he wants is just straight up, I just want to win, and you're willing to kill people because of that. That's like Lex Luthor. That's the problem that I had with Superman and Lex Luthor. Like, Lex Luthor was just the biggest hater on the planet in that movie, in James Gunn's movie. His take on Lex Luthor was just Lex Luthor just being jealous that Superman is getting more publicity. Really? That's your motivation? That's it? And it just so and in Tron Ares, they just want a particular computer code, and this guy was willing to kill for it. I just wish there was a little bit more depth to this particular antagonist. I wish there was more to him. But That's my criticism. My criticism isn't because he's white and oh, that's how Disney, everyone thinks the white man's blah blah blah. No, I don't follow that. Now the visuals were actually pretty cool, but that's to be expected. I mean, excuse me. When it comes to visuals, it's 2025. They should be on point. I mean, I don't think anybody was complaining about the visuals. I wasn't. I really liked the way the movie looked. I really did. Now I will say this: it took place a lot in the real world, which in the last two movies, and I think the other portion of Tron, there was something else with Tron, not just the two movies, but it all takes place on the grid, which is where the magic really happens, on the grid. So I do think there was some valid criticism there, but I also say that for me personally, as a watcher, as a viewer of these types of films, I think it was welcomed. I think it was cool that, they showed some real world use of the AIs. It makes sense. There were some people that were complaining about, the lasers are making things out of nothing. Like they didn't explain it. Honestly, me personally, I didn't care. Like I said, you go to these types of movies and you suspend your belief. Everything doesn't need to have a solid explanation. If that's what you're looking for, you might as well go to a physics class. It's kind of ridiculous to really try to fault a movie like this because of that. Because let's just think about it too. The first two movies, even the movie back in the 80s, guess what? It was a particle laser that sent Flynn into the grid in the first place. So you're not questioning that, but you're questioning this film. It just seems like you're grasping at straws. You're trying to figure out any and everything to say negative about this film. It's kind of ridiculous. I can't mess with that. I don't get it. Like I said, I like this film. Does it have some flaws? Yeah, it has flaws. For me, the pacing. I do wish there was more on the grid. I do wish it was that. I'm trying to figure out where this $180 million budget went. Being that it took place mostly in the real world. So where did the budget go? That's what I want to know. I originally said it was a big mistake for them to film it mostly in the real world. And I still kind of do, but I do think it kind of works with this type of story, which is why I think this should have been a movie. I think this movie was premature. I think this movie should have been filmed or released after continuing Sam Flynn's movie. Now, when you look at this movie towards the end of it, it seems like that's where they're going, but it's backwards. You should have I wanted to see where Sam Flynn was going, especially from Tron Legacy. So from Tron Legacy, you should have continued Sam Flynn's story, and then actually you would have been able to have more backstory and a more build up to the villain of this movie, of Tron Ares, with their rival company. Then I would have been like, okay, because it just felt like a lot was missing from this antagonist. It just felt like it. I don't have a problem with the woman. I didn't write down her name. The black lady being part of also an antagonist as well. I didn't have a problem with that. I don't understand why Nerderotic and the Critical Drinker were so pissed off about that. I don't get it. I think she was dope. I mean, she's a computer program given a directive, and she's just following the directive. It's a computer program. What the hell else do you think? What are you expecting? She's following directives. The plot though, it's pretty simple plot. Tron Ares, but it works. Tron Ares is a simple plot, but it works. It's simple. Like I said, you suspend your reality for a little while, for a couple of hours. It's not supposed to be super duper realistic. I mean, people love Transformers. Where the hell are the real life Transformers at? You see, when you start to think about it, you see how ridiculous it sounds. You want, realism, blah 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 blah. Screw that, man. I mean, like, now sure, could there have been some dialogue to describe how organic material is being produced with those lasers? Sure. But at the end of the day, I don't care. Like I just don't. Like it's again, you suspend reality for a couple hours. Now, since I don't want this to go too long, towards the end of the movie, well, there's a post credit scene, so it's kind of leading up to a sequel. This is the reason why I say that this movie was premature. This should have been done again after a continuation of Sam Flynn's story after Tron Legacy. That's what I was looking for. Like, Tron Ares makes sense after you tell that story or finish it off or continue that story with Sam Flynn. Then you ease into Tron Ares. You could have built up the villain, all kind of stuff. Like, I don't know what this obsession with Hollywood, these studios, man. Y'all are impatient. You want $1 billion franchise every single time. It's just not gonna work that way. And if you do want it to work that way, you're gonna have to have some patience. You're gonna have to allow things to grow. And Tron already has a small audience, so a $1 billion situation may not ever happen with that IP. But a $500, $600, $700 million, maybe. I think Tron Legacy, its run had $400 million on their budget. Their box office take was $400 million. I think you can push that up to maybe $600 million, maybe, when it comes to that. But I don't think you're getting $1 billion movie out of the Tron franchise. You have to understand that, and that's why these budgets need to start coming down a little bit. It had $180 million, a little over that budget, and I don't know what y'all was expecting. Now, it's terrible because I do like the film. A lot of people who went to go see the film liked it, but it only brought in $33 million for the first week. Typically, there's always a drop off the second week. Sometimes there are exceptions, but typically, almost all movies have a drop in box office take in the second weekend. Now, here's what some of the criticisms. I do think that the soundtrack, the Daft Punk soundtrack, was way better than Tron Legacy. 9 Inch Nails, valiant effort, but it falls flat. It does. There's like one or two scores that are cool. I went and listened to the entire thing myself, and like I said, there's only one or two that I'm actually really digging, and they made sure to use that a lot in the film. So I'm glad they did that. But Daft Punk's soundtrack for Legacy, yeah, it might be one of the greatest soundtracks ever, in my opinion. And I think I have a bunch of people that share that opinion. But long story short, man, this movie is not a bad movie. I encourage you to go see it. Don't listen to the critics. They will steer you wrong. I think you really should go see this movie, Tron Ares. I understand that Jared Leto is not the biggest box office draw. I understand that, but the man can act. He does deliver in this film, in my opinion. Greta Lee, I don't know what the hoopla is about. I do wish it would have been a Sam Flynn movie. I do wish that. And then after that, you tell the story of Tron Ares as is. There should have been a movie before Tron Ares, period. I don't know who's making the plans. Excuse me. I don't know who's making all these plans, but I don't think you guys got, I think you got your, Jesus. I think you got your, the combination of movies out of whack. The order is not right. But anyway, I don't want this to be too long. I mean, I think I'm pulling up on almost 15 minutes. So, I just wanted to give my short take on it, man. I think this movie's getting too much hate, and I do think there's a corner of the internet that are just waiting to hate on a movie. They want to hate on the movie. Negativity sells. Negativity propagates a hell of a lot faster than positivity. That's the truth, and I think they figured that out. And anytime anything comes out, they're ready to tear it apart. And I think it's foolish, man, because it ruins it. Because we know how Hollywood is. They need to make money. And if you're out here constantly bashing everything and getting people not to see a movie just because you're trying to get views on your channel, I think you're doing the industry and the fans a disservice. Some of these like Star Wars definitely deserves all the hate it gets because I don't like none of that shit. But Tron, come on, man. Like, let's pump the brakes a little bit and allow it to just allow it to go. You know, Midnight's Edge had some negative things to say about it too. And I'm like, really? You know, Looper had some stuff negative. It's like everybody has something negative to say about Tron Ares. And I don't understand. It's just I saw the movie. I liked it. And I think you should too. Anyway, you know, if you share the opinion or if you like what I'm saying right now, make sure you comment and like, subscribe too. I'm still working on trying to get my subscribers up. I'm trying to get monetized. It'd be really helpful if you all engage with the content and subscribe as well. Help me become monetized so I can do a lot more of this. You know, I can't do this all the time, you know, until I'm monetized. You know, I actually have to, you know, go work. If I can, you know, be monetized on this channel, I can actually sit here and do a lot more of these types of commentary and actually watch movies and enjoy the movies, not as a solid hardcore critic, but as a moviegoer, like so many of you are. Not everybody's a critic. Some people just want to enjoy the movie. And from the comments that I've read on Looper's channel, Midnight's Edge, Notoratic, and The Critical Drinker, there's more than enough comments that says that people actually like the film. Again, I think you should go see it. All right, this is Flying-Artz flying off. I'll catch y'all later, man.